So welcome to our channel.
Hello, hello.
For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm Peg.
And I'm Rob.
And what we're doing at the moment is we're driving all around New Zealand, and we've been here now for 5 months. We decided the way we were going to do it was to visit every single square on the New Zealand Monopoly board.
Yeah, so all was going well. First 2 months were fantastic, really enjoying ourselves. And then we lost our hard drive, lost all our footage, anything you can imagine. And that really impacted on the videos we were hoping to make going forward.
It did knock us, actually. We were a bit gutted by it, but we decided to keep calm and carry on.
Carry on we have, and we've decided to use some photographs that we did, and we've converted some of those into moving clips as well, and piece together some videos just so that we could demonstrate where we actually have visited on this trip.
In this episode, we're going to show you some absolutely gorgeous footage of us driving around the Otago Peninsula. The further south we've gone in the South Island, the road trip has been as much part of the day as the destination.
That's it. I mean, it's just incredible scenery. We've just absolutely loved it.
They say in New Zealand it's all beautiful, but there's just varying degrees of beauty as you drive around. It's just magical.
Yeah. So in this episode, we're going to visit Cathedral Square in Christchurch, and we meet up with friends Annette and Ross.
We also meet up with Julian, who was one of my old students, and his mum Myra and his niece Sian.
And finally, we pay a visit to Larnach Castle, the only castle, Peg, in New Zealand.
I think there were 2 castles built, but Larnach Castle is the only one that's still habitable.
So that was a pretty amazing visit, I've got to say.
Yeah.
And then we went to Golden Bay and also a trip to Farewell Spit.
Situated in the picturesque Otago Peninsula, Larnach Castle has been lovingly restored by the Barker family. It was built in the late 19th century by William Larnach, a businessman of Scottish descent who later became a cabinet minister. The castle shell took about 3 years to build, then a collection of European craftsmen took a further 12 years to embellish the interior. The result is an impressive castle well worthy of a visit.
Welcome to Larnach Castle on the ridge of the Otago Peninsula near Dunedin.
So this was a place in 1870 William Larnach came, chose this site because it's so absolutely beautiful to build his castle, and he built it for one of his 3 wives, his first one, and he lived here for quite some time. He was an Australian banker who decided to come to New Zealand to increase his fortune, and he ended up becoming a member of Parliament, and unfortunately he took his own life there as well.
Yeah, it's quite incredible, and the views from here absolutely stunning. I mean, the garden is absolutely beautiful.
It's such a lovely place to be. We can hear bellbirds, we've had kararoos flying past. It's just such a peaceful, beautiful place. I really understand why anybody chose to live here. We've had afternoon tea here as well.
Oh yeah, that's just beautiful.
Now that's one of the best afternoon teas I've ever had in my life. Scone, I think I've eaten better scones, but the rest of it was absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, so we asked them before we came that could we have a more savoury and less sweet afternoon tea, and they actually took notice of our request.
Because despite the fact that Rob absolutely loves sweet things, he doesn't like to be overfaced with cakes.
No, not. I mean, I love my cakes, but you know what an afternoon tea's like. It's just cakes on cakes on cakes. So we got a bit more savoury in the mix today, and I think it was just right.
It was lovely.
We stayed in Collingwood, a quiet Goldrush village and Golden Bay's northernmost settlement.
This village has a general store, several cafes, galleries, a pub and a small museum.
It's a perfect base for those wanting to explore Farewell Spit.
And the wild and wonderful Farrariki Beach. Farewell Spit, or Onatahui in Maori, is a natural wonder. It's a narrow sand spit right at the northernmost tip of New Zealand's South Island, and at 25 kilometres it's the longest sand spit in the country. It's made up of unbelievably beautiful golden sand.
At low tide, vast mudflats are exposed and create a natural feeding ground that attracts some very rare seabirds during the summer months. An absolute dream for bird watchers.
The Spit is a nature reserve and bird sanctuary, and public access is heavily restricted. Going on the tour allows you special access, as the tour company has a licence to go further than public access.
After visiting Cape Farewell, which is the most northerly part of the South Island, we had a short drive over the Spit to the iconic lighthouse, where we had a cuppa in the lighthouse keeper's cottage.
We were taken to see panoramic views from a sandhill overlooking the Spit. Our guide Charles was passionate about birds and extremely knowledgeable about the sanctuary. I love birds, and we saw a bar-tailed godwit on this trip. This bird has the longest migratory flight. Cathedral Square is at the geographical centre and heart of Christchurch, and it's where the city's Christchurch Cathedral is located.
Christchurch suffered an earthquake in 2011. The restoration is still ongoing and is being completed in 3 phases. 1. Stabilisation, 2. Strengthening and reinstating the main cathedral and tower, and 3. Construction of a new visitor and cathedral centre.
There was a lot of debate about whether to demolish the cathedral building and rebuild from scratch, but they've opted to strengthen and restore. We also spent time in Christchurch catching up with friends. We stayed with Ross and Annette, and Grace and Briar and Mo.
Ross kindly took me on a canoeing adventure to Ripapa Island, which has played many roles in the history of New Zealand, including an internal struggle for the South Island, a quarantine station and a temporary prison. The fort was also in military use in World War I and II. It is currently home to 2 extremely rare guns, of which one is still in working order.
I also managed to meet up with Julian, who was one of my old students, who was over from the UK with Myra, his mum, and they were visiting their Kiwi niece, Sean. It's hard to believe that Julian qualified as a nurse 18 years ago, because we've kept in contact ever since. We had a lovely couple of days meeting up with them and having some fantastic meals at the Plough.
So many thanks for watching.
Thank you.
We really appreciate everybody who's followed us so far.
We're amazed at how many people have, so really thank you. And thanks for commenting as well.
Yeah, we love your comments. Thanks for subscribing. And we've almost caught up with our video footage, and so normal service will be resumed soon.
Or as normal as we can do it.
Well, yeah. as normal as it could possibly be.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Thanks.
thank you very much, and
Bye.
we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
That'll do. I think
That'll
that'll do.
Will that do, Peg?
That'll do.
Right. How would we really do it if, you know,
If we were professional.
if we were professional? How would we do this?
We'd probably be like this, wouldn't we? We would be professional.
I mean, imagine if this was like the BBC version.
Hello.
Hello.
And welcome
Thank you for
to our
watching.
broadcast
Thank you for watching this evening.
from the BBC.